Do you sight read much, or do you always have to have a piece of music in front of you? Can you play Onward Christian Soldiers without having a book in front of you?
Yes. Yeah. Let's see, how do I say this without sounding really arrogant? I've spent most of my life in the practice room, and I grew up on stage as a little kid. And I have professional parents who are professional musicians.
They were.
My aunts and uncles on both sides are professional musicians. My uncle, Don Hendrickson, you may know the Hendrickson name, who brought us into the church on the Lutheran side, was head of the opera department at Eastern Kentucky University, and we spent summers there, and I was, so if you grew up like me and you did what I do, you're kind of at the top of your game when it comes to the technical side. So there's nothing, you would be the same way. You, in your own world, you're the same way. Whatever you've done all your life, you're probably really good at it, right? So I'm just really good at it, not because of talent, but because of my hard work. So
can we picture you as a boy? Where did you grow up?
Oh, he is trying to interview me.
Just go.
What about our air compass?
Come on. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan.
That's right. What town?
In Saginaw, in Michigan. God's handprint on the world, right? So I grew up right here, 100 miles north of Detroit, Flint, Saginaw Bay City.
But when did the parents say to you, you're going to start piano lessons, or you're going to start whatever?
They never said it. At age 4, I was already playing stuff.
You were?
Yeah.
On what instrument?
On piano.
At 4?
Yeah. And everybody at my level started at age 4 and age 3.
Even back then?
Oh yeah.
Well, how old are you?
Even now.
How old are you?
Yeah. I'm about your age.
I'm 69.
Are you really?
Jack, I don't know your priesthood at all. Are you in the priesthood?
I am.
What is your office?
I'm elder.
You're an elder in Community of Christ. But you weren't raised Community of Christ. Would you talk about that?
I was baptized Missouri Synod Lutheran, right? But my parents went to a variety of churches. My father was Episcopalian. My grandmother played at the great Episcopalian Cathedral in Chicago, Oregon. And my mother came from a Lutheran family. And
did she play
they went where the symphony musicians went. That's what I said. So we went to the Congregational Church when we first moved to Michigan, because they had the biggest organ, fancy church. A lot of symphony musicians were there. They had a string quartet at a lot of places. My parents played in it, and so meeting Dick Clothier was one of like the 5 reasons we started coming to this church. It was denomination, because he spoke their language. He was a symphony band and symphony guy. He spoke their language, so they all know this church might be legit after all.
But we can't daydream about a kid named Jack Ergo who played soccer or football.
Oh, no, I'm not a
or
sports guy.
Did you ever play any team sport?
Never.
Did you ever have any hobbies besides? And then when did it morph from piano to other instruments? Because I think you can play several.
Yeah. It's basic keyboard though, piano and organ. I grew up studying piano and organ really seriously.
And when you say study
means my father, in fact we were just talking about this on Father's Day when he's 93. My father spent every Saturday of his life driving me at least an hour and a half one way to piano lessons.
Really?
And I just think, would I do that for my kid? Because he was very busy.
What did he do for a living?
From maybe 8 years until I was 18. Until I was driving. He would drive me to Michigan State or to University of Michigan or to Central. They were all of these places, always going to the best teachers in the area.
Were they good
talks like with your father, or
Yeah.
good father-son time?
Was he a Detroit Tigers fan?
No, he's not. He's not
So
sports.
he
guy at
wasn't
all.
sports minded?
Well, he grew up thinking he was going to be a professional baseball player.
He did.
Yeah, and he grew up in South Chicago with my mother. They met on the stage of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Is that not the
Oh,
coolest
wow.
thing? When they were in the youth orchestra there. So all he did was play baseball when he was a little kid.
So there was
And then
athleticism.
then his grandfather bought him a viola and took him to a concert. And he said, in 24 hours, baseball was in the past. And so,
Really?
yeah, it just changed his life.
Would you say that your father is extremely proud of the way you springboarded off of that dedication of him driving you?
Yeah.
Does he gloat? Does he take joy? Does he get emotional when
No.
he sees you perform?
No. Oh, I guess. I don't know. You see, my parents and I have performed as a trio since I was like 12 years old. So it's interesting when they're the parent and you're a kid, but when you're on stage, you're equal. And they treated me, so I grew up in an adult world. You've heard that phrase before, right? So, we would make comments to each other about the C sharp and bar 33, right? Well, okay, we write it in, so.
But that all came easy to you. Music
It's
came
like
easy.
riding a bike.
Or did it?
I guess it did, but I mean, in Baltimore, when everybody else got in the car and went to Ocean City, I went to the practice room. So in Baltimore, going to Ocean City is kind of the thing to. Am I right?
It's the
That's kind of
coast,
the
yeah.
thing to do. On a Sunday afternoon, you come back
Over
when
the
all
Bay
of the
Bridge.
chicken places and
Yes.
then you get the crabs and
Oh,
all
yeah.
the churches on the route back they bring all their grills out to the road and
Yes.
there's this like from here to there is a thing of chicken on
I can
some
almost smell it.
cinder blocks.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, and corn and crabs and everything, and so I went there a lot. But hard work is what the answer is, right?
Bill and Phyllis, we're kind of learning about Jack's fascinating life because there's not enough people here to cover. We want to save his material to when everybody.
Yes, he does.
But I am so interested in this man, and I've known him for all these years, and I don't know a whole lot about him.
That's my plan.
But let me ask you this, and I say this with all respect. You haven't even talked
Yeah.
to.
When somebody starts they start a sentence with that, I'm going to put my drink down and look the other way.
What about siblings? Did you have siblings?
Yeah, we're not going to go here today, okay? So this is
Come
fine.
on.
This is fine. Do you know that sitting at the organ is unbelievably physical? So Dick would always say, I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed you played the piano today. And I said, I know what you're saying, but I spent all day yesterday with the chainsaw up in the trees, And when you sit at the piano, but sitting at the organ, there's no sense of balance. There's no center of gravity because your feet are also playing, and then they also have to. There are 4 pedals on the organ, right? 4 different crescendo pedals.
Did not know that.
Each keyboard has their own crescendo.
Well, how many keyboards are there?
On this one, 3 plus the pedal, so there's 4. Plus there's a crescendo pedal, so there's 5 things to think about, right?
And she was
Plus,
playing them
there's the
all.
antiphonal organ. There's an organ up in the balcony, which is essentially a separate instrument, and that's the top, right? And so, plus you're not just doing this on the piano. You're like here, or you're like here, or you're like here, and it's just very physical. And as I age, I get dizzy. Do you have that problem sometimes? And so.
Can I ask you this? And I say this with
Did you have a
respect.
question?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, please check.
By the way, Paul and I we've known each other a long time. We know everybody on the East Coast. So our banter is out of great respect to each other.
No, but I don't know as much about you as I want to know.
my plan is working.
Were you that different kid in 5th grade?
I was.
Did the other kids make fun of you a little
No,
bit?
no, because they knew I was on stage.
They
I was kind of-
respected you, they envied you a little bit.
They thought I was, even though I was strictly classical. I didn't discover jazz till I was like 30 years old. I was strictly a classical guy, so they didn't know anything about that. But they knew my parents. My parents' name was always in the paper.
But there was no rebellion. You never said, I don't want to drive an hour and a half today to go do
No.
the lessons.
No.
You loved it.
We didn't have a normal. I grew up in an adult world. I was never treated like a kid.
That
So
can be-
never reprimanded, never, because I was kind of a nerd
Okay.
in that respect. So
Uh-huh. Were you good with your schoolwork that wasn't related to music?
sort of.
C plus?
What?
Were you a C plus student?
Yeah, I was kind of a B minus student.
Okay.
In high school, I never went to school on Mondays, and I got in a lot of trouble.
What? What do you mean?
I stayed home and practiced. Monday night was my lesson. Sometimes I had a pre-lesson with my mother or my father. I would have a pre-lesson for my lesson for school, for piano. Isn't that weird? And I stayed home, and I said to the principal, I said, I'm not screwing around. I'm not watching TV or anything. I'm practicing. I know. He said, but you got to come to school. You got to get your 180 days in, or you're not going to graduate. So I do have a couple of D's on my, and all. Ergo's such a smart aleck. I got that from a lot of teachers. So
But you fit in.
I fit in. Yeah.
Did you have other hobbies as a kid besides your music? Is that a silly question?
I'm a chess player.
Wow.
Yeah, and when you're a chess player, you're consumed by it. So, yeah, I would play a lot of chess.
Are you good?
I used to be. So, I started the chess club here
At the college?
at the college. Grayson never had a chess club. How can you have a university without a chess club? So,
Wow.
and
So then you get to high school, and you're starting to answer the call to do things at certain functions. People are saying, get that Ergo kid. Did people call you Jack as a kid? Was that your, when did you start getting calls? Could you play at this recital? Could you do this or that? Or this function?
I mean, it's hard to answer that without sounding arrogant.
We want the truth.
The truth will set you free. Is that true?
By the time I had gotten to 9th grade, I had already soloed with an orchestra 3 times on stage. Yeah, big time. So, I've won a lot of competitions, and it's not unlike what the kids here on like baseball and football. They go to state, they go to the music have their own thing like that too. So.
Tell us about high school, though. What was that like for you? Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Douglas MacArthur High School, which was an experimental school.
In
In Saginaw. So every, like the science, the music, they were separate buildings, so it was like a college campus. So between classes, we went outside to another building.
Got cold in the winter, didn't it?
And, oh yes, oh yes.
So talk to us about,
I
so
don't know.
I'm bouncing all around here because there's so many things about you I'd like to know about. Church attendance then now as a senior or a junior in high school, were you, a lot of kids rebel against having to go to church. Where were you with all that?
We went to 3 churches every Sunday. And I went to Catholic catechism
Oh, boy.
in 5th grade. Because my chess players were all Catholic. And when we went, Michael and, the other guy, we would walk home from school and we'd go by this beautiful Catholic parish where our other friend went to Catholic school. He didn't go to public school, he went to Catholic school. So we would go into that, I think Mass was 5 to 6 every day.
Of quick hour.
And
Well done.
we'd get out of school at 2:50. We'd go in there and play chess till mass, and then we'd sit in mass. And occasionally they would need I was an altar boy. I had my ring the bells and everything.
You did that.
Took communion.
But you weren't Catholic.
No. And Michael finally said, Father John Ergo, he's not even Catholic. He's been here. Father John went, ah. And most Catholic priests are absolutely wonderful. The ones as a kid, he said, guys, play chess here, and then just come to mass. And
I imagine you could beat a lot of adults as a younger chess player. You were that good, probably that.
oh, I'm still pretty good. The only person I can't beat is Rolf, because he's a do you know he's a
Is who?
grandmaster?
Who?
Rob Rolfe?
Rob Rolf's son. He's a grandmaster.
They do?
Yeah, he's a grandmaster.
Yeah.
He's highly rated. He can clean my clock in 20 moves.
Is that there?
So,
So when you're in high school,
but I was also in high school. I was organist for the huge American Lutheran Church downtown Saginaw. Beautiful big
Official
pipe
organist.
organ. I got paid. So I would go to their early service and play their early service, accompany the choir, and then I would beat it over to Community of Christ and go to our service. And then from 1 to 3, I was the pianist at a black Episcopal service downtown. So Lutheran, very strict liturgy, right? And then our church was just like this, and then the black church, fabulous, right? Oh my gosh, played constantly. And in the black church, improvisation is kind of the thing you do, right? So I kind of learned improvisation playing.
well, they
for that.
developed that skill for
Oh,
you.
it did.
So as you get to be a junior and a senior, and all the other kids are picking colleges to attend, applying to get into colleges, where did you want to go for college?
I had spent
Peabody
summers going, Michigan State and University of Michigan, two big schools in the whole wide world, right? They have huge summer music camps, still going strong. And I was a part of both of those. And so I kind of could choose and pick. But I was going to Central Michigan University for piano lessons there, and they came after me hot and heavy and gave me a lot of money. And so I just went there.
Central Michigan.
In Mount Pleasant, which was the center of our mission center, still is, for the church. So that was kind of interesting too. That kind of pulled me there.
Would you say that you were a spiritual kid? By the time we get to be 13 and 14, when were you baptized? Were you baptized at 8?
No, 12.
You were 12?
Until then I was Lutheran.
Okay. Did you feel like you were a spiritual kid, that you got into
Mhm.
prayer and...
Yeah.
Very good. So Central Michigan, you're there 4 years? Is that a 4-year program for you?
I don't know that we should talk about my college.
Well, you weren't a partier. Anyway.
No.
No.
But I didn't go to class very often because it was just such a waste of time. So I tell
How can you say
I
that?
tell Graceland kids, who wants to hear Ergo's college experience? And I said, get to class. How many colleges did it take how many different universities did it take Ergo to get his first college degree?
Oh, my.
6.
Can you explain that a little bit?
I went to the music classes. The other classes, like my English class in American fiction, I think I went the first class, and then I went to the midterm, and I went to the final, and I aced the class. I got an A in it. So that's kind of how geeky I was, right?
But you didn't, what was your major?
Music.
Music.
Is it, you were a
Always
music.
yeah. Always music. So
You didn't double. You didn't study poli-sci.
no, there weren't. You didn't kind of double. In those days, double majors were kind of odd. You might have doubled if you're in the medical field. Then you get biology, chemistry, or biology pre-med, something like that. But I don't think I'm glad you mentioned that. I never thought. I'll have to ask Jolie. Because
But so.
So anyway, I have 6 college degrees.
But if you would say that to a group of people.
6 college degrees?
I have 3 master's degrees and 3 undergraduate degrees. I would have had a doctorate degree if I had gone to class, so, but that's a sore spot with me in Graceland, and here's what happened, is I would get offers to do professional contracts and go on the road and make a lot of money, so I dropped out of school and did that. And it was the stupidest thing to do.
How old were you? 17?
No, maybe at that point 19, 20. But I went for 3 years, and then I went to Baltimore.
I don't know why you went there.
Well, it's
Peabody?
odd. A family friend, I was complaining about the textbook, and I was complaining about the class, and he goes, you know, at your level, why are you even here? Why don't you go study with the guy who wrote the textbook? I said, what? He said, just study with him. Go study with him. Tell him you want to come study with him. And so I said, well, you know, isn't that a bizarre thing to think about?
Yeah.
The next day, he comes over, he says, I called him. He's gonna set up an interview. And that was at Juilliard. Juilliard is the top music school in the world, right? So I said, Juilliard, I'm not qualified for that. He goes, oh my gosh, you can play rings around those people. So I got on first plane ride. I was by myself without my parents. This is after 3 years there. Went down to New York City, and it was just amazing. A who's who of the best in the world were at that.
So Juilliard's located where?
Downtown New York City.
Downtown New York
Across the
City.
street from Lincoln Center.
How did that not intimidate you? The big city.
Oh, the big city intimidated me. Yeah, that was the first time. I've been in New York City a number of times, but never alone. And it was pretty. I did pretty well. I mean, I didn't freak out. Took the cab from LaGuardia. And
So
all this
did
stuff.
you study with the guy who wrote
No. At the same time, the guy who I was studying was at Juilliard. All of a sudden, transferred to Peabody in Baltimore. So my friend said, "You've got to go study, go
Go to
audition at
Peabody.
Peabody, right?" So I went on and auditioned at Peabody in Baltimore. This is a separate time. And they really liked me. Juilliard didn't like me all that much. They weren't going to give me a lot of money. And then living in downtown New York City cost a fortune. What you have to do is you have to find 3 guys, and you share an apartment, and you sleep in a closet. You know, it's that's actually all true.
Right.
But you're leaving something. Why wouldn't Juilliard like you?
Well,
Be honest with us.
okay, at my level, which is very high, at my level, I'm still a dime a dozen. Oh, yeah.
And we're talking back then now.
Even now.
Even now.
Oh, yeah, even now. Well, maybe not now.
See, I think everybody in this room would disagree with that.
Well, my experience is quite unique thanks to the church, which is now gone because the church has dumped all of their music programs on headquarters, which is a wrong decision, if you quote me.
So you're in Baltimore, you learn that culture, you're a
There
long way.
she is, our star.
You're a long way from Saginaw,
Yeah.
right? When do you meet your future wife?
Oh, I met her in Mount Pleasant at Central Michigan.
You did?
Yeah.
And was she an art major?
No, she was a music major.
She was.
And she had sat with my parents for the previous 3 years in a symphony, and I had never recognized her. So my parents knew her quite well. I never knew her until I met her at school. So that remains very weird. And she's a cellist, my mother's a cellist. They speak the same
That's
language.
beautiful.
So
But again, is it
isn't
safe to
music
say
wonderful?
you play multiple instruments, correct?
Name the keyboard.
Yes,
I've seen you at the college.
I'm pretty much piano, organ, and harpsichord.
Is there anything else you play? I thought you.
I play viola. Viola is the tenor instrument of the string family. So violin, soprano, alto. Viola is the tenor. Cello is the bass.
So does Julia follow you to Baltimore?
She would say we both went at the same time.
Because she wanted to go to Peabody also?
Yeah, yeah. And that was a strange coincidence. Yeah.
So how long do you attend Peabody? Off and on?
After the first time I was dismissed, they let me back in.
Now you keep talking. Benita, doesn't he keep talking around the edges? You've talked about Juilliard didn't like you. Now you're saying things didn't go well at Peabody. What's going on, Jack?
Well, I didn't go to class. And so my grades were in the toilet, and I lost my scholarship because I went touring,
okay,
all right?
to make the money.
Make some money.
But you didn't need the money.
No, I didn't. Well, I never had any money.
Yeah.
My colleagues, they all come from wealthy families, so that was really problematical. So I thought, they all grew up with a grand piano. I grew up with a little dinky, so I think I was all in awe of them. They knew a lot of people.
So when do you and Julia
And,
decide that you're going to spend a life together?
I don't know. The one story you want to hear, though, is how I came to work for the church.
Well, give us the
Because
transitional bridge.
I lived in Baltimore, but here, I don't know if you know, do you know I commuted to DC every day for 2 years? Monday through
I
Thursday?
didn't know, but that's right now, to go from Baltimore to DC is a nightmare because of the traffic.
Yeah, I took the Parkway up, and I went at 10 in the morning and came back at 10 at night.
Oh, you
so
beat the
I
traffic.
went opposite the rush hour, so it
It's
wasn't
kind of like
that
New
bad.
York. Yeah.
So here is so like here's the White House, here's DuPont Circle, and you go around, you go up Massachusetts, and here's the church. And then you go up across the street from the church, literally across the street from the church is the Vice President's home. And 3 doors down is the Iranian embassy. That's kind of interesting. If you go to the Vice President's home, you go up 2 blocks and you turn 3 blocks to the right is the Washington Ballet, and that's where I was. Across the street from the Washington Ballet is the National Cathedral. So you kind of know where everything is. So at lunchtime, I would come over to church and talk to Cal French, because Cal French was on, and that's how I got to know him very well. So I'm in the 2nd year of Washington Ballet. I just signed a contract for a 12-week European tour with them. I was the pianist for the company. I didn't, and I directed the orchestration, but mostly I was the pianist for the company. 12-week tour. Franklin Weddle calls my employer to say, does Jack Ergo work? Is he there? Yeah, he's there, but he can't come right now. He's in rehearsal. Oh, well, tell him we have a plane ticket for him. That's how they asked if I was interested in the job. They had a plane ticket for him a week from Monday, and I was to come audition for this job. And my employer said, "Oh, really? You don't do that, right? You don't do that." So they called, and I was so confused because they had asked me a year before, because Harold Neal, the guy, was retiring, and was I going to be interested in the job? And I said no, because I was only like 25, and everybody else was in their 40s. They're not going to, and I'm not an orchestra director,
Well, that's another thing. You just threw that out, that you directed the orchestra. So you're talking about this Washington Ballet.
Yeah.
You're the pianist.
Yeah.
But you also said that you directed. How in the world? It's not like you took a class. How
Well, I
did you
did
learn
take
how
a
to
class.
direct?
Well, you do take a class. You study directing like one-on-one with great directors.
So Dick
So
Cody
did you go on the
too.
12-week? Did you go on the 12-week tour?
No, I had to break contract, and they charged me $2,000, which in 1980 was a lot of money.
It was like 8 then.
And I didn't have it. I had to borrow the money to break contract.
Oh my!
So they were very unhappy. And of course, 12. I said to the church, "Can I come next year, or could I come No, you got to come now." Of course, I was so naive. If I had just said, "Well, then go jump in the lake," they would have gone, "Oh, by the way, yeah, you can come." I was just naive.
I'm confused. So Washington Ballet, a couple of years. You're a Community of Christ guy. You you and Cal French. are
By that
good
time,
friends.
Paul, when I left, I was with the Dursts and the Penningtons at Dundalk Congregation. I went to I taught at Towson, because Towson met at the Peabody
Right.
building in Towson.
We did that.
Right.
And I would go up there and talk and help them with the services on Sunday.
But I didn't realize that you were, and I don't
And
know.
Connie and Walter Billings, you remember Walter?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know the Billings and his parents?
Yeah.
I don't know much
Oh,
about.
did you know Kathy Wolf just passed away last week?
No,
You
I
know
knew she
Kathy
was
Wolf
really
is-
sick.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
know
so
that.
you're at Washington Ballet. You're
Yeah.
a pianist.
Trying to get him on.
You have these
I've been trying to
opportunities
get him back to the
tour,
It's not
inner
gonna happen.
compass is what I
Just go
wanted
with
to
it.
talk about today.
and so now
Is it past 9:30?
is that when Community of Christ World Church called you? When was that?
They had called me. They were the ones that called me at Washington Ballet and said they had a plane ticket for me.
Okay.
Like it was I'm thinking, okay.
So you took the job. You went to Independence, Missouri,
I did.
and you're how old? 26. You're not married yet.
So Bud Sheehy, my very first thing with Bud Sheehy and Alan Tyree, and the three of us, were flying to Atlanta or someplace like this. I'm very nervous because I'm with the
Yeah.
President Howard Sheehy.
You're with
and
Iroh.
Alan Tyree, right? Who my parents knew very well. I didn't know him very well. And Alan is a very no-nonsense guy. Bud is a lot of fun. But he was in his presidential mode, right? So I'm in a three-piece suit. We're sitting in American Airlines. Stewardess says, anybody with small children can get on the plane. Bud jumps up, takes my hand, and leads me on the plane. And it was downhill ever since
So
then.
what was the official, and this is where I'm ignorant with everybody, what was your official job when you said yes to,
Play the piano.
what was your job with the Community of Christ when you were
It was to
there?
direct the Messiah choir.
Oh,
Yes, very, very distinguished tradition. At that point, when I came there, it was at the pinnacle.
But when I think Messiah
1,000
Choir, I think Christmas. And that's it.
It's Christmas, right? Mhm.
They have a position for a guy to prepare a group of people who are only going to be in the spotlight during Christmas?
It's also to direct the auditorium symphony. It's also to write the worship helps. It's also to travel to 6 reunions a summer. And it's also to deal with all of the children's music for Sunday school resources.
Just-
So
just
it
the
was
light
like,
load.
it was a lot.
what year was this?
This would have been 1981
They always squeeze
when I
everything.
came, fall of 1981.
Funny question. So Graceland College was never an option for you in your mind? Or was it? Did you ever think, I'm a RLDS kid, there's a college in Lamoni, Iowa, maybe I'll go there?
Well, no, because
You knew the music program
I
couldn't
didn't think
handle
I
it.
qualified to be a university professor. That's like I'm a performer.
I'm talking about as a student. Did you
No.
ever consider going to
No,
college?
no, I'm not. I was never interested in teaching. I'm a performer.
No, as a
No,
student.
To be a college student.
Oh, to be a student.
Go get my BA in Lamoni.
It wasn't a music college.
Do I want to say this out loud in public? Graceland, when I was in high school, Graceland did not know how to talk to a person like me. They, first of all, there was not really a grand piano to practice on. There was only one grand piano on campus, and that was reserved for performances. And I'm not interested in that. So I need a professional place to practice to become a performer. And they did not know how to talk to somebody like
But
that.
Dick Clothier was not here then?
He was here. Yeah,
He was?
yeah.
Did you have a relationship
No,
yet?
no, I didn't know him. My parents knew him, but I didn't know him at all.
Okay.
So they came and the orchestra came as a tour to Saginaw, and they had a recruiter there, and we talked. And the recruiter, they just didn't know how to talk to somebody like me. So I don't want to say, I probably would have come anyway because I needed to have professional, which we do have now, man. We've got the best. We've got the best of the best.
Where?
So.
At Graceland?
Oh, Carroll Hall, with one of the top Steinways in the world.
Oh,
that
I see what
chose.
you're,
Yeah,
All right, so
Yeah.
we got 6 minutes left.
Thanks.
So you get this new job, and as Benita just said, you know, a lot was on your plate with all the things that you had to handle as a 26, 27-year-old.
Yeah.
Were you intimidated at all? Like, what have I bitten off?
No, my ego's really high. Take the R out of my name, you got me.
You know, I remember that
What?
from being at the New Mexico reunion, and you came with Zach, I think, and he was like 5 years old.
You were at that reunion?
With my
Wow.
4 little kids.
We lived in
and I was-
Albuquerque.
New Mexico in July, and we were freezing. Who would have thought?
It was in the mountains, the Sacramento Mountain Retreat.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows what I know.
Well, you've enjoyed, I would imagine that you enjoy that aspect of that job back then,
That was
of
the
getting
first
to
time I
go,
heard him.
especially Park of the Pines in Michigan, or other place, Blue Water.
Oh, yeah.
You love that.
Yeah. I love big crowds. I like crowds.
And then you proposed to Julia somewhere along your independence, early stay.
At the time, she was living in Italy, and she came back for a bit, and I panicked because I thought she would never come back. This was summer. I don't remember when it was. We had been we had been on stage together, kind of in a platonic relationship for a long time.
Sure.
And then somehow we fell in love, and then she moved to Italy. And she excavated Etruscan tombs for like 9
She
months.
was not RLDS.
Oh, she's still not. She's Heathen Baptist. She's Baptist. Yeah.
So you were with Community of Christ.
Yes.
And did your role ever change at headquarters from all those things that you were doing?
No.
And then you did that how long?
20 years.
And would they say you were a good employee?
And then Dick came after me. He goes,
Wait, I
"You
want to
should
hear
come
you
to
answer
Graceland.
that question.
You want a job? You want to come to Graceland?" I go, and then he said his mean thing to me. He says, "You have to say things that are verifiable." Not unlike being a minister from World Church. I left that part out.
Were you ready for a change?
No.
Then what about the Graceland job, aside by the chemistry of Dick Clothier saying, come, what appealed to you? Why did you come?
Barbara Higdon and Dick, they all ganged up on me. And they threatened me.
No.
Pay would have been less, I bet.
Actually, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, World Church pays terribly, right? I mean, it's like 10 grand less than any kind of school music teacher.
Well, was it hard to say goodbye to living in the center place, World Church credentials?
Do you know one of the things that helped? Because I'm a big city guy. I grew up in a big city. We lived in downtown Baltimore. You know where the Washington Monument is in Baltimore?
Yes.
We lived at the foot of it, right, where
Oh, my
Peabody
Lord.
is.
That's a really neat
Johns
place.
Hopkins University.
Sure.
I mean, that was my playground. I mean, oh my gosh.
But you're still a Michigander through and through. But when you
Yeah,
said,
but moving here, the person who helped me move
Yes.
here was Jerry Gale Ramsey. She says, where you live by the auditorium, when you go to Borders Books, there was one Borders Books in 1998 or something like that. How long does it take to get there? I said, well, it takes about 55 minutes in terrible traffic. She said, okay. Add 5 minutes to that and you're in Des Moines and just get a big freezer. And that, let me tell you, that worked for me. That really did work. So, and then she told me about restaurants. Your mom helped with that. She goes, this is restaurant, this is restaurant.
but there had to be culture shock coming to Lamoni.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I lived at 101 West Monument above the Santorini Italian restaurant. You know, you do your laundry and you have to walk through the kitchen of the top Italian restaurant in Baltimore. That is not here.
To wrap this up,
Thank goodness.
maybe someone else has
Hey.
questions.
Well, it's too late.
I have a couple.
So, is there class next week if we're out at the Carpenter Farm? I can't really be here, I don't think.
I think we'll do something, but we'll wait for the book before. So
Why
everyone
don't
can
we
do
wait
that.
2 weeks and do chapter 12, 13 together, which
Yes.
is the summation
Yes.
of the book, and then we'll get to.
Somebody else, who volunteered to do 13?
I think we should have Lori do it because Lori's read the book 4 times.
Yeah, yeah. But you do 12 in 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
We should do 12 and 13 together.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, good.
13 is sort of.
Okay. Any other questions for Jack this morning? We've learned it. Haven't you all learned a lot?
Benita has a-
I have no idea.
I would have come home.
Trying to think if I'm here in 2 weeks. Is that July already, or is it still June?
No, that would be July.
I have a question.
I can't keep.
Ready? When are you gonna have a tour of your house so we can see what you've done?
Thank you for bringing up that painful question. We're kind of ready now. So should we have an open, how can I do it without my wife finding out?
Not a good idea.
Maybe you should put it on the Christmas tour. Just throw a couple Christmas trees
He
in.
probably
My
won't
house
even
at
be here.
Christmas is so wonderful. I do it just for myself.
Christmas in
I collect Renaissance Santa Clauses, right? And I have 60 of them. And they're all over the house and
Definitely, Christmas
they're
tour.
so pretty.
That's a good time.
Well, Bill,
I believe Benita asked a
Go ahead,
question.
go ahead.
It's okay, the time's gone.
No, go ahead.
But you're a
Go
good
ahead.
Paul,
carpenter.
stop.
You're a good carpenter. Where did you learn all that?
Anita-
Can you video what he just said? I can have it. Alan, by the way, Alan Craybill has helped me because Alan's a pro. Yeah, this is the 4th house we've renovated top to bottom. So we gutted it and renovated the whole thing ourselves, did all the work ourselves. So if you go, at my age, I can't be on ladders anymore. So you'll see a 24-foot scaffolding that I built, and we're putting that up to finish the outside of the house. But we should I have a very large patio by my peacock place, and it would fit the whole church there for like a dinner. We should have a dinner out there.
But you've painted the picture of a kid who was kind of a nerd with your music. That was your passion. And then I hear of all the things. That's the story that you painted.
Yeah.
And then I see and observe that you do drywall. You do ceilings. And I wonder, where did Jack ever learn all that?
Well, here's where that comes from. My great-grandfather on my father's side built Pullman cars at the famous Chicago Pullman factory, 1930, 1940. He was a stowaway on the Carpathia 1 year before it came to the rescue of the Titanic. So his father was a captain killed by pirates around the Cape of Good Hope in 1887.
Oh my God.
I mean, so I have all of that. So he was a machinist. My grandfather, my mother's side, finished the top 4 floors of the Sears Tower in Chicago. At that time, the tallest building in the world. He was the foreman for that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So all of that has filtered into my wanting to do, as a musician, wanting to do something practical.
I'm with you on that.
So anyway, I don't know, when should we have an
Well,
open
I
house?
just wanted to make a statement that my great-grandfather was a racketeer, so what does that leave for me?
That's great.
I
It
guess
just
I
answers
have no
our,
future, do I?
it just answers our question about you.
Jack, last question. And get deep with
Our
us.
time was up.
How do you, as you reflect back on your life, 2 careers really, well 3, professional performer who got paid, Community of Christ World Church music specialist, and then you go work for a beloved college for, 20 some odd years? You're retired now. How are you feeling about that?
being retired won't hit me till September.
Right.
So, I don't know, I just go on, I'm still practicing the piano 2 hours a day. I mean, my retirement is all about learning the 32 Beethoven piano sonatas, which are kind of the pinnacle for the concert pianist, right? I know 16 of them. I'm not gonna perform them all because they're way too difficult, but I wanna learn them all. Just, that's, you know, that's my spiritual practice, so. When you're a musician,
Yep.
when you play, I mean, when she played that, she is in prayer. And the prayer is so, look at this, the prayer is so much more exponential than merely praying in English language. I mean,
Yeah.
we kind of all know that, right? That's why when we sing, even if we only make a joyful noise, it's incredibly important. The spiritual, it's in our moral compass, it's in our spiritual DNA. I can go on and on and on about that. So,
Thank you.
yeah.